Hi, everybody. It's Dacia Moore, licensed professional counselor, executive leadership coach, specifically for nonprofit executives and small business owners. And I just wanted to share some information with you today. It is the end of the year is approaching, and I remember when I was in the executive director seat, how intense this time is for nonprofits and small businesses that are on the calendar year, because what it means is that you have another 2 to 3 weeks to rake in the money that you need to achieve your fundraising goals for the year. And many of those fundraising goals are based on all the plans that you had, and your 2026 goals have some influence as well, because I'm sure you have increased some of the goals that you are setting so that you can do more work. Nonprofits do work that other companies don't do, and so you're trying to serve more people, help more people, and get the word out about your nonprofit. And if you're a small business owner, which is just a different form of business, because a nonprofit is a business, then this is an intense time for you. So I am interested and very committed to the positive mental well-being and mental health of nonprofit executive directors, especially those who are in small and medium-sized nonprofits, meaning under $5 million. As well as small businesses under $5 million. This is an intense time for you, so I wanted to give you some tips on how to maintain your cool through the rest of the year. Because listen, the end of the year is not the end of the world. And yes, you have to put forth your A game, your best effort to do all the things that need to be done. But I encourage you and urge you to pace yourself, okay? And by pacing yourself, there's some foundational things that are important for you to do beginning today. Number one, make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Now, I know that's easy to say, and you probably are staying up late to send off emails, to plan that last event, worrying about, are you going to make your numbers? I get it. But listen, you've got to figure out a way to get more rest or get enough rest so that you are full of energy the next day. All right. And part of that means that you tell yourself the story. Yes, this time of year is important, but also next year will come and we will get a chance to even do better and more things next year. I know for some of you that is challenging because of the government shutdown, even though it's no longer shut down, but there was a delay in paying people. Many of your government grants have been pulled or been reduced. So I get the stress that is occurring this time of year. But worrying and keeping yourself up late and driving yourself to exhaustion is not going to help. All right. We need you to be healthy and to be well rested so that you can think clearly and make good and wise decisions that have implications into the future. So that's number one. Another foundational principle, make sure you're eating properly, and make sure, I encourage you to get away from your desk to eat your lunch, and make sure that you have a nutritious breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Easy to say, not so easy to do, because what I imagine some of you are doing is that you're ordering fast food in, you're eating at your desk while making those phone calls, sending out those emails, giving instruction to your staff. I get it. But your body needs the right kind of fuel to endure this last push to the end. You know, in a marathon race, and the name of my company is Second Wind Counseling and Consulting. I love the name because second wind is a term used in marathon racing where a runner runs and gets exhausted, but if she just keeps going, she will get her second wind. But in order for your body to get its second wind, it needs proper rest and it needs proper nutrition. But at the end of a marathon, that's the hardest mile, is that last mile, right? And you are in the last mile. So you've got to get your mind right. You've got to encourage yourself. You're going to do it. You're going to do the best you can. And then you're going to leave it. All right, that's why we have our faith as Christians, because we ask God to make up the difference. So I hope you're praying. I hope you haven't given up that habit. Be sure to ask the God of heaven to help you to manage the anxiety that you're feeling. But what will also help you is if you get proper rest, you eat well, and you drink lots of water. All right, I know this is a time that you all are having cocktail parties and Christmas parties and all of the other kinds of end of year events. You have in your end of year gala. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I am telling you things that you already know, but I am imploring you to do them, all right? To take the time to do them. Take pauses throughout your day. The best time to pause is when you have your time scheduled for lunch. I hope you are scheduling lunchtime or some time to eat, some downtime, some margin time. When you have your schedule packed, but back to back to back to back, and you have control over your schedule, that is exhausting. So be sure that you're pacing yourself just like a marathon runner. You are pacing yourself and you're encouraging yourself to finish strong, but you're also doing it with ease. That is what I'm suggesting. And then be sure to step outside. I know it's cold in some of the areas where you live, but there is nothing more refreshing than to get outside and just look at nature, hear the birds, and wind down. There's a quote that says, nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. All right. You will accomplish what you need to. And if you don't, you'll make plans to do it next year. Okay. So I'm encouraging you to certainly work with excellence, but also be balanced and be calm as well. So that's on the professional side in terms of your mental health, your mental wellness. That's on the personal side of your personal mental health and mental wellness. On the professional tip, on the professional end, I want to ask you, are you delegating? Or are you trying to do everything yourself? Now, I know with some of the executive directors that I coach, they don't have a staff. They have to do everything, which means you have to be really, really laser focused on what are the most important things that have to get done. There may be some important things that need to get done, but what are the most important things that only you can do? All right. There was probably about 2 or 3 years before I had a staff person, and then I ended up, after my tenure at the nonprofit, I had probably 7 or 8 staff. But at the beginning, it was just me. So I understand the pressure, but I also know that there's some things that are the top priorities, and that's what you have to focus on. So you have to be laser focused and laser sharp with cutting out the extra and delegating where you can. See if you can enlist some of your board members to help you. See if you can enlist some of your volunteers. Are you engaging your volunteers at this time to do some of the tasks that you can't seem to get to because you've got these other things that you have to do? And then finally, on the professional leadership side, to delegate if you can, when you can, look at your to do list and be laser focused on what can you delegate to a board member, to a volunteer, and then communicate with clarity and consistency. We have to over communicate our priorities, meaning that those that you are enlisting that are on your team, they need to know what matters most, when it needs to be done, and be very, very explicit and clear about what is non-negotiable, what must be done during this time, leaving time for and space for questions. All right, because not everybody is thinking the way that you think. I often imagine myself as a captain of a ship, and I'm the one at the bow looking out on the water and deciding which way to go. Not everybody has that view. So some of your staff, they're in the back and they have no idea what your vision is. So be sure that you are over communicating priorities and that you leave space for questions so that everybody can pull together and finish strong. And be sure to encourage your team. Now, I know my experience has been that this is a high pressure time. You've got numbers on the line. You're trying to meet your numbers so that you can end the year well as get a good start to 2026. But calm down is what I'm suggesting. Smile, all right? Be sure that you're engaging your staff and you're not just rushing from thing to thing to thing, being all frantic and hurried and harried. Calm down. Enjoy this. Remember the reason for the season, right? The reason for the season is that we have been given the greatest gift of all, which is the Lord Jesus came to us from heaven, and we got to remember what this is all about. I know it's fundraising time, but we have to really remember what this is all about and calm down. Take some deep breaths. You will get through this. You will be successful and you will make your numbers. And if you don't, you will keep trying, right? If you don't make your numbers, you will keep trying. You will figure it out. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you. Would love to hear your comments, thoughts, suggestions that you have, and we will keep managing our mental health so that we can get our second wind and live a productive, healthy life. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.